Hi and welcome. What is a language? Language is basically sounds and symbols and some words, right? So, words are very important to convey any meaning. So, if you really know how to use the words properly, and you will be successful in communicating with others. And you will be successful in communicating the meaning whatever you wanted to convey to others, right? So be it any language, words play a vital role in conveying the meaning. So when it comes to English language, there are approximately more than 10 lakh words, and 5 lakh words are general words and remaining are technical words, and all these words are divided basically into 8 parts of speech. So these parts of speech helps one to use the words properly and understand the words properly and to improve English communication skills. So in this video we are going to learn English parts of speech. So shall we start? But before we start, I'd be really very happy if you please click on the subscription bell and like buttons, and do share the videos so that I can come up with many such kind of videos in the future. And if you're ready, let's start. Welcome back. Each part of speech explains not what the word means, but how a particular word is used in a sentence, which means a same word can be used as different parts of speech in different sentences. So one word can be a noun in one sentence, a verb or an adjective in other sentences. So we cannot decide the part of speech of any word isolatedly. We have to see the word usage in the context in a sentence. Then only we can say whether that particular word is a noun, verb or an adjective. So usage of particular word in a sentence is very important. For example, books are made up of paper, glue and gum. In this particular sentence, the word books is used as the subject of the sentence and it is a noun. And if you take the next sentence, Satish waits patiently while Venkat books the tickets. So in this sentence, the word books is used as the verb and it is the verb to the subject Venkat. So the same word books in the first sentence, it is a noun, whereas in the second sentence it is a verb. So we can understand from these examples, no, we cannot decide the parts of speech of particular word isolatedly. We can only know the parts of speech of any word by its usage in a sentence. So now let us try to see the parts of speech of English language. According to the traditional grammarians, there are 8 parts of speech in English language. They are: number 1, noun; number 2, pronoun; number 3, adjective; number 4, verb; number 5, adverb; number 6, preposition; number 7, conjunction; number 8, interjection. These are all the 8 parts of speech. Now let us try to know about each one briefly. Hi and welcome. Money is very important to live, and we count money, either the coins or the printed notes, regularly. But in English language, the word money is an uncountable noun. Though we count money regularly, in English language, the word money is a noun and it is uncountable. Isn't it surprising? Yes, in this video, you are going to learn about noun and the kinds of nouns of English language. Welcome back. Noun, as we all know, is a name of a person, place, thing or animal or event, and we also call nouns as naming words. A noun acts or function as a subject of a sentence or an object of a sentence or a complement in a sentence. For example, Telugu is my first language. In this sentence, the word Telugu is the subject of this sentence. Not only subject, it is a noun. And in the second sentence, I like trees. The word trees is a noun and it is the object of this particular sentence. And in the next sentence, instance, my sister is a dancer. So the word dancer is a noun and it is the complement of the subject my sister. So a noun in a sentence can be a subject or an object and a complement also. And now let us try to understand the kinds of nouns. How many kinds of nouns are there in English language? Nouns are basically divided into two categories: proper nouns like Raju, Hyderabad, and common nouns like boy, girl, town, city. And common nouns are divided based on form into two categories. One is countable and the other one is uncountable. Rice, milk are uncountable, whereas countable, again, it is divided into singular nouns and plural nouns. And singular nouns are cat, man, and plural nouns are cats and men. Based on the meaning, common nouns are divided into four categories. Number one is concrete nouns: table, chair, door. And next, abstract noun: beauty, truth. Next, material nouns: silver, gold. And next, collective nouns: mob, team, and etc. And apart from all these divisions, there are two other kinds of nouns. One compound noun, the other one is possessive noun. And for easy and better understanding, we can say the English nouns are divided into 12 categories. They are: number 1, proper noun; number 2, common noun; number 3, collective noun; number 4, abstract noun; number 5, material noun; number 6, concrete noun; number 7, uncountable noun; number 8, countable noun; number 9, singular nouns; number 10, plural nouns; number 11, compound nouns; and number 12, possessive nouns. And now let us try to know about each one in a brief way. The first one is proper noun. Proper noun is nothing but one's own name of a person, things, animals, and places. Persons like Ravi, Anand; things like pen, chair; animals like cat, dog, tiger; places like Suryapet, Hyderabad, Nalgonda. All the proper nouns should be capitalized, which means they should start with a capital letter. Either it is in the beginning of a sentence, middle of a sentence, or an end of a sentence. So it should be capitalized. He is Mr. Raju. Raju is a proper noun, name of a person. This is a table. Table is a proper noun because it's a name of a thing. I visited Taj Mahal last year. Taj Mahal is a name of a thing, so it is also a proper noun. So proper nouns are proper names of particular persons, places, things, or animals, right? And the second one is common nouns. Common nouns refer to a broad class of the same kind or class, like persons, things, animals, and places. Now, persons like boy and girl; things like car, trees; animals like bird, cats; places like village, town, city. And these are not capitalized wherever they come. No, we should not capitalize. We should not start common nouns with a capital letter. Sita is a girl. The word girl is a common noun, whereas Sita is a proper noun. Sita is a name which is given to only individual girl, so it is a proper noun. Whereas girl, we can call any girl as a girl, so it is a common. So girl is a common to Sita, Geeta, and everybody, so it is a common noun. Birds live on trees, so birds and trees are common nouns. Surya is joining school today, so the word school is a common noun. So common nouns are commonly used for common class, kind, the same kind of thing. And the third one is collective nouns. Collective nouns are nothing but it's a group of persons, things, animals, and places. For example, group of persons, team of players; things, bunch of flowers; animals, a flock of sheep; places, a library of books. So collective nouns represent complete whole. So for example, if you say team of players, team includes all 10 to 11 players, so it's the complete of that particular team. And other examples: a herd of cattle, a crew of sailors, a band of musicians, a class of pupils. Herd, crew, band, class, they are all collective nouns. So the collection of one kind put together, they are called collective nouns. The fourth one is abstract noun. Abstract nouns are usually the names of quality, action and state, and they are the ideas, concepts and the feelings. They are the things that you cannot touch. You can only feel the quality, or you can only have some kind of feeling inside. For example, if you take the quality, goodness, kindness, whiteness, darkness, bravery, hardness, honesty, these are all the qualities that we can possess. And the next one is action. You can laughter, theft, movement, judgment, hatred, these are all the actions that we perform. And the next one is state, childhood, boyhood, youth, slavery, sickness, death, poverty, these are all the state of being of individuals. So these are all we can feel but we cannot touch, so we call them as abstract nouns. Wisdom is the first quality to achieve anything in life. So the word wisdom is a quality, so it is an abstract noun. A lot of hatred is spread on social media these days. Hatred is an action, and that is also an abstract noun. Poverty should be eradicated. The word poverty is a state of being, the condition of individual, and it is also an abstract noun. So we cannot touch wisdom, we cannot touch hatred, we cannot touch poverty. We can only feel them. So that's the reason they are called abstract nouns. The fifth one is material nouns. Material nouns of the names of the metals, and these metals are formed from nature, like water, air, silver, gold, copper. They are also formed from animals like egg, meat, honey, milk, silk, leather. They are formed from plants like cotton, food, oil, wood, juice, coffee, tea. There are certain man-made material like acid, alcohol, brick, cement, butter, ghee, etc. So these are all called material nouns. Anything that is in the form of material is called material noun. Water is the elixir of life. Water is a material noun. Milk is good for health. The word milk is a material noun. The sixth one is concrete nouns. It is the opposite of abstract nouns. We have discussed that we cannot touch the abstract nouns, but here we can touch, we can smell, we can see, or we can also taste concrete nouns. They are called concrete nouns, and these are all the opposite of abstract nouns. And concrete nouns refer to the things that exist physically. They are not the ideas, they are the physical existence of a thing. This is a table. Table is a concrete noun. Dog is man's best friend. Dog is a concrete noun. And on a whole, we can say except abstract nouns, remaining nouns are concrete nouns. The seventh one is uncountable nouns. They are also called mass nouns. So whatever nouns that we cannot count, they are called uncountable nouns. So uncountable nouns cannot be counted. We cannot count like 1, 2, 3. So they are uncountable nouns. And one more important thing is uncountable nouns should not be used with indefinite article a and an. So a and an should not be used with uncountable nouns. And the most important thing is uncountable nouns are always singular. There is no plural for uncountable nouns. Have you got some money? So money, the word money is singular. There is no monies. We can't make plural. So it is an uncountable noun. And you cannot even say a money or an money. No, you cannot use indefinite article a or an before money. So that is also very, very important. Air conditioners use a lot of electricity. So the word electricity is also uncountable noun. Many Asians eat rice. Rice is also an uncountable noun. So uncountable nouns cannot be counted, and they do not have plural forms. They only have singular forms. The eighth one is countable nouns, and these are all the nouns that we can count like with number 1, 2, 3. And the most important thing is they have the singular form and the plural form also. We can say ball and balls, boy and boys, girl and girls. So these are all the countable nouns. So we can count them like 1 boy, 2 boys, 3 boys, 4 boys, like we can count. So they are countable nouns. Ravi has a ball. So ball is a countable. We can say 3, 4, 5, 6 balls also. Pen is mightier than sword. Pen and sword. nouns, countable nouns. Boys and girls are equal. Boys, girls, countable nouns. So countable nouns can be counted. That's very easy, right? And the 9th and 10th one are singular and plural nouns. The easy and important difference between singular noun and a plural noun is when a noun indicates only one thing, one person, one idea, it's a singular noun. But whereas when a noun indicates more than one thing or one person, one idea, it's a plural noun. So there are certain ways of changing a singular noun into plural noun, and let us see. The first one is by adding the letter S at the end of a singular noun and it will become a plural noun. For example, book is a singular noun. If you add S, it becomes books. It's a plural. Pen, pens. Pen is a singular, whereas pens, after adding S, it becomes plural. And the next one is in compound nouns, we should add S to the main noun. For example, air conditioner. So here the conditioner is a main noun, so we have to say air conditioners. You should add S to conditioner, not air. And the next one is son-in-law. Sons-in-law. So sons is a main noun, so we have to add plural to sons. The third one is adding letters ES to the words that are ending with whistling sounds like S, J, S, Ch. So if the word ends with these sounds, we should add ES. For example, bus. Bus is a singular. If you add ES because it is ending with S, so it becomes buses. Church is a singular. It is ending with CH, and if you add ES, churches. It's a plural. Box is a singular. It ends with X, so we should add ES. It becomes boxes. It's a plural. And the fourth one, there are certain singular nouns that ends with F or FE, and when we convert them into plurals, we have to remove F or FE and we should add ES or VES. For example, knife is a singular. It ends with FE. If you want to make it plural, it becomes knives. VES, we have to remove FE and we should add VES, then it becomes plural. Half is a singular. It is ending with F, and if you want to make it plural, it becomes halves, and we should remove F and we should add VES, it becomes plural, halves. Life is a singular. It is ending with FE. We should remove FE and we should add VES, it becomes lives. The fifth one is unique Old English plurals, and singular do not change at the end, but it changes in the middle. For example, man is a singular, but men is a plural. A is changed as E, so when you change E, it becomes plural. Foot is a singular. When you say feet, it's a plural. OO is changed as EE, it becomes plural. Mouse is a singular, but when you say mice, it's a plural. So we should be bit conscious about these old English plurals. And the sixth one, there are certain words we use them as a singular and plural also. For example, sheep, it's a singular and plural also. Fish, it's a singular and plural also. Dozen, it's a singular and plural also. But there are certain nouns which are used always in plural forms. For example, police, scissors, jeans, shorts. So these are all the ways in which we change a singular noun into a plural noun. So we understood singular noun represents only one noun, but whereas plural noun represents more than one noun. And the 10th one is compound nouns. Compound means more than two nouns. It's a combination of two nouns. Either it can be a combination of noun plus noun. For example, bus stop. Bus is a noun, stop is also noun. You combine both of them, it becomes a single word. It is a bus stop. It is a compound noun. Likewise, football, tennis, and there is another combination also, adjective plus noun. We can have this combination also. For example, full moon. Moon is a noun and full is describing this moon, so it is an adjective. So it is a compound noun. Combination of adjective and noun, it's a compound noun. Likewise, blackboard software is also compound nouns. So there are three categories. There are three forms of compound nouns. The first one is open or spaced compound nouns, which means there is a space between two words. pronouns. Dining room, there is a space between dining and room. Ice cream, space between ice and cream. So they are called spaced or open compound nouns. The second one is hyphenated compound nouns. It is nothing but having an hyphen between these two words. They are called hyphenated compound nouns. Example, mother-in-law. So mother hyphen in hyphen law. So that is hyphenated compound nouns. The third one is closed or solid compound nouns. They are one word. There won't be any space or hyphen between these two words. For example, showcase, bookmark, housekeeper, and etc. So Radha is waiting at bus stop. So bus stop is a compound noun, right? Software industry is ever growing. Software, ever growing. They are compound nouns, right? So the next one is possessive nouns. Possession means having, ownership. So they demonstrate the ownership of something else. So by adding an apostrophe or an s or both, we have a possessive noun. So we have singular possessive nouns. By adding apostrophe and s, we can have the possession of a singular noun. For example, dog's collar. It means collar of a dog. Car's engine. So it is an engine of a car. Car apostrophe s, which means car's engine. So this engine belongs to that particular car. Bus's tire. So tire belongs to that particular bus. Bus apostrophe s, tire. So the tire belongs to that particular bus. There is another category of possessives also, plural possessive nouns. By adding only apostrophe at the end of this plural noun, we can form a possessive noun. That is plural possessive noun. For example, dogs, already it is a plural noun. We can add only apostrophe at the end of s, so it becomes dogs' collars. So all these collars belong to those particular dogs, right? It's a belongingness. Cars engines, so these are all engines belongs to those cars. Buses tires, and no, these tires belong to those buses. So it is a plural possessive nouns. So possessive nouns talks about ownership, possession of particular noun. So we have learned the kinds of nouns in this video, and I hope you have understood it very clearly. And we have to be very careful while looking at a word, what kind of a noun it is. And if you say a class of students, it is a collective noun. And if you say student, it is a singular noun and countable noun also. But if you say students, it's a plural noun. And if you say student apostrophe s, students, it's a possessive noun. And if at all, if you say SSC student, it is a compound noun. Whereas if you say boy, it is a common noun. And if you say Ravi, it's a proper noun. So we should be a bit careful while looking at a noun if you're really looking at it in a context. So I hope this video helps you to understand a noun in a broader sense. And if you really have any doubts, you can comment on the comment box so that I can come up with some kind of answers if at all, if it is required.
Hi and welcome. I hurt myself. I myself will do it. The word myself is used in both the sentences, and we know the word myself is a pronoun. Is it used in the same way in both the sentences or in a different way? If it is used in a different manner, what difference does it make? And if we really want to understand what difference does it make, we have to understand the pronoun of English language properly. So in this video, you are going to learn about a pronoun and the kinds of pronouns of English language. Welcome back. Pronoun is the second one in the parts of speech of English language. Pro means instead of, noun means noun. So instead of noun, we use pronoun. So what is the need of the using pronoun? So instead of repeating the noun in a sentence many times, we use pronouns to avoid the repetition, and which gives a lot of impact to the language. And the basic pronouns we have I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. Lata is a great singer and she is my sister. Here she is a pronoun and we are using she instead of Lata, a noun. Raju is my student. He got IAS. So he here is a pronoun and he represents Raju, which is a noun. So this is how we use pronouns in place of nouns, instead of nouns. to avoid the repetition of the nouns in a sentence. So the pronouns establish the link in a sentence, not only in a sentence, in a paragraph among all the sentences. And now let us try to understand the different kinds of pronouns of English language. And there are many kinds of pronouns in English language, but let us try to take some of them, and let us take only 9 of them and discuss them in a brief way. The kinds of pronouns are: the first one is personal pronoun, the second one is reflexive pronoun, and the third one is emphatic pronoun, the fourth one is demonstrative pronoun, the fifth one is indefinite pronoun, the sixth one is interrogative pronoun, seventh one is distributive pronoun, eighth one is reciprocal pronoun, and the ninth one is relative pronoun. These are all the different kinds of pronouns in English language. Now let us try to understand about each pronoun in detail. The first one is personal pronoun. Personal pronouns stand for the person who is speaking or spoken to or spoken of. Now we have 3 persons in English language. The first person is the person who is speaking, the second person, the person who is speaking to, and the third person, the person who is spoken of. And these are the 3 persons, and each person will have singular and plural form. And this is very primary and very important in English language. Not only that, but also we have to understand that every personal pronoun will have a subject form, object form, possessive form, and reflexive form. Subjective form is nothing but nominative case, and objective form is nothing but accusative case. Possessive forms will have 2 cases. One is attributive case and the second one is predicative case. Reflexive emphatic pronouns are also called self pronouns. Let us take for example the first person singular I. I is a subjective form and it is used always as a subject, and it is called a nominative case. Whereas when it comes to the object, it becomes me, or we can call it as an accusative case. But in possessive form, we have 2 forms of this I. One is my and the second one is mine. Whereas my is attributive case, mine is a predicative case. And myself is also used in 2 ways. One is a reflexive way and the other one is emphatic way. Let us try to understand all these personal pronouns in an example. The first one is I met Ravi yesterday. I is a pronoun and it is a subject of the sentence and it is in the nominative case. In the second sentence, Ravi met me yesterday. Here me is a pronoun and it is in the form of objective and it is in a nominative case. The third one is this is my book. The word my is a possessive pronoun and it is used in the attributive case. The fourth one is this book is mine. So mine is also a possessive pronoun but it is used in an attributive case. The fifth one is I hurt myself. The word myself is a reflexive pronoun because it is reflecting the action on the subject I in the sentence. So it is a reflexive pronoun. Whereas in the sixth sentence, I myself will do it. Here myself is emphasizing the case, right? So that is the reason it is an emphatic pronoun, and though it is a reflexive pronoun, it is used to emphasize. That's the reason we call it as emphatic pronoun. Myself in both the sentences is also called self pronouns. So this is how the first person singular appears in all the sentences, and all of them are personal pronouns only. And if we take the first person plural, we, so that is a subjective case, and us is an objective case, and ours is a possessive attributive case, and our is possessive attributive case, and ours is possessive predicative case, and ourselves is reflexive pronoun. And now let us try to see the other persons, like second person singular plural and third person singular plurals. And second person singular is you is subjective case and it is also you in objective case, whereas in possessive predicative case it is yours, and reflexive case it is yourself. And when it comes to plural, second person plural, you subject, you object, your, again it's possessive attributive, yours predicative attributive, yourself reflexive. And when it comes to third person, we have 3 singulars in third person, they are he, she, it, and the plural is they. Let us try to see them how the pronouns will change according to the form. For example, if you take third person singular he, it is a subjective case, him objective case, his possessive attributive case, his possessive predicative case, himself is a reflexive pronoun. And the second one, third person singular, she, so that is subjective case, her objective case, her possessive attributive case, and hers possessive predicative case, and herself is a reflexive pronoun. Third person singular, third one is it. It is subjective case and objective case is also it, whereas possessive case it's, and reflexive it is itself. And when it comes to third person plural, that is they. They is a subject, they is a subject, they is a subject, that is nominative case, and them, that is object, that is accusative case, and the next their is a possessive case, and theirs is also a possessive case but predicative case, and themselves is a reflexive pronoun. And these are all the personal pronouns which are very, very crucial in connecting the sentences in a paragraph, and they give a lot of beauty to the language in a connected speech. The second one is reflexive pronoun, and we call them as self pronouns also. When a subject and the object of the verb refers to the same person, we call it as a reflexive pronoun, which means the action which is done by the subject reflects on the subject only. That is called reflexive pronoun. For example, I hurt myself. So here the subject is I hurt myself. So the action which is done by the subject is reflecting on again subject I. So that is the reason myself is a reflexive pronoun. And the next one, she is looking at herself in the mirror. She is a subject and herself, she is looking at herself. Again, herself is reflecting back onto the subject she. So that is the reason herself is a reflexive pronoun. Lata killed herself. So again, Lata never killed others. She killed herself. So herself is reflecting on again Lata. Lata is a subject. So it is a reflexive pronoun. So reflexive pronouns reflect on the subject itself. And the third one is emphatic pronouns, and they are also called self pronouns. There is a slight difference between reflexive pronouns and emphatic pronouns. The difference is when we emphasize a particular word or action in a sentence, we use emphatic pronouns. But when the action is reflected back on the subject, we use reflexive pronouns. So that is the only difference, or else both of them are same. And for example, I myself will do it. Here, myself is emphasizing not anyone else. I myself will do it. So here we are emphasizing that particular work, myself. That's the reason myself word is called emphatic pronoun. I myself killed this cobra. So myself is emphasizing that no other killed, I myself. So none of the other fellows killed. I myself killed the cobra. So myself is emphatic pronoun because we are emphasizing the particular act, work. We met the Prime Minister himself in Delhi. So not anyone else, the Prime Minister himself. So we are emphasizing the act. So that's the reason himself is an emphatic pronoun. So emphatic pronouns are used to emphasize particular thing in a sentence. That's the reason there is a slightest difference between emphatic pronouns and reflexive pronouns. The fourth one is demonstrative pronouns. So we use demonstrative pronouns to talk or point to some person or thing they stand for. And there are four demonstrative pronouns. They are this, that, these, those. This, that, we use it for singulars. These, those, we use them for plurals. That is a nice car. We are demonstrating that particular car. So that, we are showing that. So that is a demonstrative pronoun. This is not my mobile. No, this is a demonstrative pronoun. These are my friends. These is a demonstrative pronoun. Those are very expensive shoes. So here, those is a demonstrative pronoun. So demonstrative pronouns demonstrate a particular person or a thing. The fifth one is indefinite pronouns. The title itself shows indefinite, not definite. So they do not refer to a particular person or a thing. They talk in a general way. There are many demonstrative pronouns. Let us see some of them. They are one, none, no one, nobody, nothing, something, all, a few, many, one, once, something, anything, nothing, someone, anyone, no one, somebody, anybody, nobody, etc. There are many other indefinite pronouns. So when we are not speaking about a particular thing, we use indefinite pronouns. For example, something is there in the box. The word something, we are not talking about particular things, something in general way we are saying. So it's a indefinite pronoun. In a similar manner, anyone can learn English. So anyone is an indefinite pronoun. Some are very hungry now. Some, indefinite pronoun. One should love one's own country. One, once, indefinite pronouns. So indefinite pronouns do not talk about particular thing, they talk in a general manner. The sixth one is interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions, and there are some interrogative words we use them to ask questions. They are who, whom, whose, which, what. These are all the basic interrogative pronouns that we can say. And if we say whose is this book, the word whose is an interrogative pronoun. Whom did she marry? The word whom, interrogative pronoun. Who is your principal? The word who, interrogative pronoun. But there is some note. We have to distinguish between interrogative pronouns with the interrogative adjectives. If a noun follows these words, these interrogative words, and we have to be very careful, which means if a noun comes before these words, then it becomes an interrogative adjective. For example, if you say whose book is this, here whose is not interrogative pronoun, it is interrogative adjective because it is followed by the noun. Whereas in the previous sentence, whose is this book? So here whose is followed by the verb is. So here it is an interrogative pronoun, whereas in the second sentence, whose book is this? Here whose is followed by a noun, so it is interrogative adjective. So we discuss about interrogative adjectives when we talk about adjectives in the upcoming videos. And what city do you like in the world? What is not interrogative pronoun? It is interrogative adjective. So we have to be a bit careful while looking at interrogative pronouns and interrogative adjectives. The seventh one is distributive pronouns. So these are all the pronouns which refer to the people or things individually. Now they take everyone at one time. And for example, each, either, neither, none. And if we see them in an example, they gave each of us a gift. Each of us means every one of us. So here each is a distributive pronoun. Neither of them passed the exam. The word neither means none of them. So it is a distributive pronoun. And the next one, none of them participated in the event. None, a distributive pronoun. Either of the two boys can do it easily. The word either is a distributive pronoun. So distributive pronouns refer to the people, things individually. The eighth one is reciprocal pronouns. Reciprocal pronouns are used to talk about or to show the mutual relationships. For example, each other, one another. So each other, we use it for two persons or two things. Or one another, we use it for more than two persons or two things. And for example, Varun and Anita loved each other. Here only two persons are there, so each other we used. Each other is a reciprocal pronoun. Whereas in the next example, we all love one another. Here the word one another is referring to the relationship among all the people, so it is called reciprocal pronoun. And most important thing that we have to remember is each other, one another should not be used as the subjects of any sentence. This is a very crucial point to remember. So reciprocal pronouns talk about the mutual relationships among the people or the things. The ninth one is relative pronouns. So relative pronouns refer or relate back to the nouns which is going back. And when we use relative pronouns in a sentence, they act as a conjunction to that particular sentence. And we have some relative pronouns like who, whom, whose, where, which, and these are all the relative pronouns that we normally use in any sentence. This is the house which we built last year. So which here is referring back to the noun this house. So house. So the word which is a relative pronoun because it is relating the two sentences. It is acting as a conjunction. So it is acting as a conjunction to those sentences. So which is a relative pronoun. The girl whom he loves is an illiterate. So whom, we can use that also. Whom, that, both are relative pronouns which are combining two sentences. The man who is running this college is my uncle. So here who is joining the man and the remaining part of the sentence. So that's the reason who is used as a relative pronoun. So relative pronouns are really acting as a conjunctions to connect the sentences. So these are all the different kinds of pronouns in English language, and I hope you have understood the pronouns very clearly. If you really have any doubts, you can comment on the comment box and I'll try to answer them if it is really necessary. And I hope you have understood in the sentence I hurt myself. The word myself is a reflexive pronoun, whereas in the sentence I myself will do it, the word myself is an emphatic pronoun. So the difference is not so big, but there is a difference. We can understand that difference by understanding the pronouns properly. All the way. Hi and welcome. This is a story. This is an interesting story. The second sentence is having an extra word, an interesting. And this particular word, interesting, is really giving an extra information and also adding rhythm and beauty to the language, right? So this particular word, interesting, is an adjective in the sentence. So adjectives are really very important in English language, and if you really understand the adjectives, use the adjectives properly, and you are considered to be the best speaker of English language. So in this video, we are going to learn about English adjectives and kinds of English adjectives. Welcome back. Adjective is a third one in the parts of speech in English language, and if you really want to know about the parts of speech, you can watch the video. I have given the link in the description below. You can watch the video and understand the kinds of parts of speech of English language. But in this video, we are going to learn about only adjectives and kinds of adjectives. And what is an adjective? Add means adding, adjective means noun or pronoun. So adding something to a noun or a pronoun is called an adjective. So adjectives are adding or describing or modifying a noun or a pronoun in a sentence. So adjectives are also called describing words. Normally adjectives come in a sentence before a noun or after a linking verb. For example, if you take a sentence, a beautiful girl, here the word girl is a noun and beautiful is an adjective, and this is qualifying the girl, and girl is a noun. So beautiful came before a noun and it is qualifying the noun. So it is an adjective. And in another sentence, she is a beautiful girl. So in this sentence, beautiful is again an adjective, but it came after the verb, after the linking verb is. So is, and it is qualifying the girl, and girl is referred to the subject, again she. Adjectives normally come in two places in a sentence, one before a noun or after a linking verb. That is very important. And we can see in the other examples also, the story is interesting. So interesting is an adjective. And the next one, Simla is a cool place. Cool, adjective. And when it comes to the adjective, if more than one adjective is used in a sentence, that is where the problem lies, and that is where in most of the competitive examinations the questions are asked. So if more than one adjective is used in a sentence, how to remember and what is the order of those adjectives is very very important. And there is a code. That code is OPSHACOM, and this is very very important to remember. OPSHACOM. OPSHACOM is a code which helps us to remember the order of adjectives in a sentence. This order is very very important and we should not miss this order. For example, let us take a sentence like a beautiful round old black Chinese earthen pot. And this is a sentence. Here, beautiful round old black Chinese earthen. This entire phrase is adjectives. So beautiful, round, old, black, Chinese, earthen. So there are 6 words. These 6 words are describing or talking about the pot. So all these 6 words are adjectives only. But what is the order? That is very very important. So this is the right order which is given in the sentence. And what is beautiful? Beautiful is a opinion. Op means opinion. And what is round? Round is a shape. This is a shape. So shape of this particular pot. And the next one is old. Old is age. A talks about age. Next one is black. Black one, what is black? Black is a color. So C stands for color. The next one is origin. O stands for origin. That is Chinese. So it's a Chinese. So it's talking about origin. The next one is M. M stands for material. So it's earthen. Earth is a material. So earthen pot. So opinion, shape, age, color, origin, material. And this is the order. And we have to follow this order in arranging the adjectives in the right manner. So in order to remember all these, we have to use this OPSHACOM. It's a kind of clue, key. And there are many questions regarding the order of the adjectives in exams like SI, Constable, BSRB, RRB examinations. And it is very, very important to remember the order of adjectives in a sentence. And now let us try to understand the kinds of adjectives which are there in English language. And these kinds will help us to understand the adjectives in a proper and the right manner. We have taken 9 kinds of adjectives in this video. The first one is proper adjectives. The second one is descriptive adjectives. The third one is quantitative adjectives. And the fourth one is numerical adjectives. The fifth one is demonstrative adjectives. Sixth one is distributive adjectives. Seventh one is interrogative adjectives. Eighth one is possessive adjectives, and the ninth one is compound adjectives. And these are all the 9 adjectives that we are going to talk in brief in this particular video. And now let us talk about each one in detail. The first one is proper adjectives. Proper adjectives are formed or derived, taken from proper nouns. And proper nouns we have discussed in the parts of speech already. You can watch the video. Link is given in the description. For example, the English language. English is proper noun, but here it is used as an adjective to qualify the language, the noun. So that's the reason it is called proper adjective. In the similar manner, the Indian Ocean. Indian, proper noun used as an adjective, so it is proper adjective. And the Victorian attitude. Victorian, proper noun, but here used as adjective, so it is proper adjective. So proper adjectives are derived from proper nouns, taken from proper nouns, or proper nouns used as adjectives. And the second one is descriptive adjectives. Descriptive means qualifying. So descriptive adjectives show the kind and the quality of a person or a thing. So describe a person or a thing. For example, a brave person. The word brave talks about that particular person. So brave is describing a person. So it is descriptive adjective. In a similar manner, a beautiful child. Beautiful, describing that particular child. So descriptive adjective. A careful mother. Careful, describing the mother. So careful is a descriptive adjective. If you see it in a sentence, the beautiful flowers have a nice smell. Beautiful and nice. They are describing, talking about nouns, so they are descriptive adjectives. So descriptive adjectives describe a person or a thing. They talk about a quality. And the third one is quantitative adjectives. So quantitative adjectives show how much quantity of a thing is, or how much quantity of a thing meant for. For example, in a sentence, if you see, I did not eat any apple. So here any is talking about the quantity. So quantity, any, nothing. So any is a quantitative adjective. He ate much bread. So much is talking about the quantity, much. So it is a quantitative adjective. You drink little milk. Little qualifying milk, it's a noun, and little is a quantity, so it's a quantitative adjective. So quantitative adjectives talk about quantity. The fourth one is numeral adjectives. So numerical adjectives shows the number or serial order of persons or things. So number or serial order of persons or things. And we have two kinds of numeral adjectives. The first one is definite numeral adjectives, and the second one is indefinite numeral adjectives. And in definite numeral adjectives, we have cardinals like 1, 2, 3, 4, and ordinals like first, second, third, fourth, and we have multiplicatives also, single, double, triple. So these are all multiplicatives, and these are all the definite numerals. And when it comes to indefinite numerals, there are many indefinite numerals. They do not show exact number exactly, and they talk about in a general manner. They are all, some, enough, none, many, few, several. So these are all indefinite numeral adjectives. For example, they have 3 children. Here 3 is definite numeral adjective. I have rupees 20 in my wallet. 20 is definite numeral adjectives. Definite cardinal numeral adjective, to be precise. So numeral adjectives talk about the order or serial order of a person or a thing. The fifth one is demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives points out which person or a thing that is meant or that is talked about. And we have 4 demonstrative adjectives: this, that, these, those. This, that is used for singulars. These, those used for plurals. In example, this car is mine. So this demonstrative adjective. These cats are cute. These demonstrative adjective. Those flowers are heavenly. Those demonstrative adjective. So demonstrative adjectives points out or demonstrate a particular person or a thing. The sixth one is distributive adjectives. Distributive adjectives refer to each one of a number, everyone, each one individually. And the distributive adjectives are each, every, either, neither. These are all the distributive adjectives. They refer to each number, each member. For example, each hand has 5 fingers. So each means every hand. Every hand has 5 fingers. So each is a distributive adjective. Every child needs love. Every distributive adjective. Neither method is wrong or either method is wrong. So distributive adjectives. So distributive adjectives talk about each person or thing. The seventh one is interrogative adjectives. Interrogative adjectives are used to ask questions. So interrogative adjectives are used to ask questions. So an interrogative adjective should be followed by a noun, and then only it is called an interrogative adjective, or else it is called an interrogative pronoun. So that is where we have to be very, very careful. And you can listen to the video on pronouns, kinds of pronouns also. I have given the link in the description below, and you can listen to it and you can understand the difference between interrogative adjective and interrogative pronoun. And for example, if you see, whose pen is this? So whose is interrogative adjective, pen is a noun followed by noun, right? What book is this? So what is interrogative adjective? Whose car is this? Whose car is this? Whose interrogative adjective. So interrogative adjectives are used to ask questions. Eighth one is possessive adjectives. Possessive adjectives like my, our, your, his, her, its, their. So they are called possessive adjectives, and if they are used before noun, and they are called possessive adjectives. For example, my car is parked outside. So my car, so car is a noun, it is used before that. My is a possessive adjective. And our job is almost done. So our, a possessive adjective. His cat is very cute. His, possessive adjective. So possessive adjectives come before nouns and they qualify the nouns. So they are possessive adjectives. And the ninth one is compound adjectives. They are also called coordinate adjectives. Compound adjectives are nothing but compound nouns or combined words modify other nouns. They become compound adjectives. Now they usually combine more than one word into a single lexical united modifier as a noun. So we use it as a noun. We take two nouns and combine them and we use it as a noun. Now they are called compound adjectives. And for example, she wore a pink and a yellow top yesterday. Pink, yellow. So these two are combined with this particular word, and so these are called compound adjectives. So these two words are qualifying top. So that's the reason these two words are called compound adjectives. In the next sentence, I have a broken down sofa. Broken hyphen down sofa. So broken down is qualifying sofa. It's a compound adjective. I saw a 60-foot long snake. 60 hyphen foot hyphen long. So these three words are combined with hyphen. They are called compound adjectives and they are all qualifying the noun snake. And if we see in the next sentence, he gave me an I'm gonna kill you now look. So here, I'm gonna kill you now, the entire thing is a compound adjectives. The entire phrase is qualifying look. I'm gonna kill you now. So entire phrase is qualifying the noun look. So this entire phrase I'm gonna kill you now is qualifying the noun look. So this is called compound adjectives or coordinate adjective. So compound adjectives are nothing but compound nouns used as an adjective. So I hope this video helps you to understand adjectives in a simple and easy manner, and it also helps you to discriminate different kinds of adjectives in a sentence and identify and how an adjective comes in a sentence and what is the order of an adjective in a sentence. So it is very, very important for the students who are really going for the competitive examinations to remember the order of adjectives in a sentence.
Hi and welcome. Sit, stand. What are they? They are the words and verbs of English language, right? Do they give complete meaning? Yes, they give complete meaning. Surprising, right? But if you see them in a context, sit means you sit. When I say sit, I am asking you sit. When I say stand, which means you stand. So you is a subject and it is implied. So it is understood in the context. So these verbs give complete meaning in the sentence. So in English language, verbs are very, very essential to give complete meaning in a sentence. And you cannot expect any sentence without a verb in English language. So verbs are very, very important, and without them there is no sentence in a language. So in this video we are going to learn about a verb and kinds of verbs of English language in detail. Welcome back. Verb is the fourth one in the parts of speech of English language. So what is a verb? Verb expresses cap. C-A-P, cap. Cap of a noun or a pronoun. What is cap? C stands for condition or state of being of a noun or a pronoun. A stands for action or work of a noun or a pronoun. P stands for possession of a person or a thing. Possession is nothing but ownership of a noun or a pronoun. So in English language, verb talks about three things: condition, action and possession of a noun or a pronoun. For example, if you say Ravi is happy person, if you say is talking about the condition, state of being of Ravi. Whereas if you say Ravi wrote an exam, wrote is talking about an action, work which was done by Ravi, it is subject. So wrote is an action, so it is a verb. Whereas if you say Ravi has a car, has is talking about the possession of Ravi, what Ravi possesses, what Ravi owns, ownership of Ravi. So it is also a verb in English language. So basically we can understand verbs of state verbs, that is state of being verbs, and action verbs. So the major difference between other languages and English language is you cannot expect any sentence without a verb. So there is no sentence in English language without a verb. That is very crucial. And now let us try to understand different kinds of verbs of English language and try to know them in detail. Verbs are basically of two types. One, main verbs, they are called lexical or action verbs are also, and the second one is auxiliary verbs, or we can call them as helping verbs. There are 24 helping verbs in English language, and main verbs are further divided into transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs have object, which means they take object, whereas intransitive verbs do not take object, they don't have object. And auxiliary verbs, helping verbs, are divided into three categories: primary auxiliaries, modal auxiliaries, and semi-modals. We can call them as marginals also. And primary auxiliaries are again three types: be forms, do forms, have forms. Primary auxiliaries are 11, and next one is modal auxiliaries. They are 10 in number: shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must, ought to. They are all the modal auxiliaries. And the third category is semi-modals, and we call them as marginals. They are need, dare, used to. They are 3 in number. This is one division of the verb, and we can divide the verb in another way also. That is, one category is a finite verb, the second category is non-finite verbs. Finite verbs reflect the tense and they are governed by number, person, gender, whereas non-finite verbs are divided into three categories: infinitives, gerund nouns, and participle. We call them as verbal adjectives. And infinitives are again two types: bare infinitives, which means without to, and to infinitives with to. And the next one is gerund nouns, the verbs used as nouns, they are called gerund nouns. And the next one is participles. Participles are again three varieties we have, and the first one is present participle, verb 1, that is present form of the verb plus ing form. And the next one is past participle, that is verb 3, and the next one is perfect participle, that is having plus verb 3. This is one more division, and we have another category of the division also, and let us see that also. And the verbs are basically divided into two categories. The first one is regular verbs, and the second one is irregular verbs. Irregular verbs are called strong verbs, and regular verbs are called weak verbs. And so now in general we combined all of them and tried to know each one in detail, and we have taken 10 varieties of verbs. What are they? Number 1, transitive verb. Number 2, intransitive verb. Number 3, primary auxiliaries. Number 4, modal auxiliaries. Number 5, finite verbs. Number 6, infinitives. Number 7, gerund. Number 8, participles. Number 9, regular verbs. Number 10, irregular verbs. And we combined all the verbs and we have taken as a serial number wise. And now let us try to know about each verb in detail and try to understand them in a better manner. The first one is transitive verbs. Transitive verbs are action verbs and they have an object. They have a direct object to receive the action, and they have the passive forms also. So transitive verbs transfer the action from subject to the object, and the object receives the action. For example, if you take he wrote a letter, here wrote is a verb, that is transitive verb. And wrote has an object also. What is the object of wrote? Letter. What is the subject? He is the subject and object is letter. And in a similar manner, Sita reads a book. Reads is a transitive verb and book is an object. So read verb has an object book, and we can write them in a passive form also. A letter was written by him. So he wrote a letter, active form, and if you translate into passive form, a letter was written by him. So that is a passive form. In a similar manner, a book is read by Sita. It's a passive form of Sita reads a book. So transitive verbs have a direct object and also a passive form. And there are certain verbs, they are always used as transitive verbs. They are bring, discuss, find, give, God, like, and take, and these are all the verbs. They are always used as transitive verbs. So transitive verbs have object and the passive form also. The second one is intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs are also action verbs, but they do not take object. They do not have object and they do not have passive forms also. They don't have object and they don't have passive forms. For example, if you say Raju is sleeping. Raju is sleeping. The word sleeping is a verb and it is intransitive because there is no object to this verb. And you cannot write this particular sentence into a passive sentence. So passive form. So this particular sentence does not have a passive form. In a similar manner, children sat at the table. Sat is a verb, that is transitive. At the table is not object, it is a prepositional phrase. It is not an object. So sat does not have an object, so it does not take an object. That's the reason it is intransitive. The action is not transferred, it is stopped there itself. That's the reason they are called intransitive verbs. And intransitive verbs do not have passive forms, they only have active forms. And there are certain verbs which are always used as intransitive verbs. They are act, appear, arrive, be, chat, come, die, fall, go, giggle, happen, itch, jump, laugh, lie, look, like, rise, sit, sleep, smile, use, wait, work. These are all the words. They are used as intransitive verbs always. So intransitive verbs do not take object and also they do not have passive form. But there are certain verbs which have two forms, like they have transitive form, intransitive form, and we can use them as a transitive verb and intransitive verb also. For example, I eat meat. So this sentence is in active form, that is active voice, and eat is a verb and it is a transitive verb because it has an object meat, and we can write this particular sentence into passive voice also. Meat is eaten by me. This is a passive form. Whereas if you say I eat at 7 o'clock, here also eat is a verb, but it is an intransitive verb because it is not taking an object. At 7 o'clock is not an object, it's a prepositional phrase. So that's the reason eat is intransitive verb in this sentence. So here eat can be used as a transitive verb and also intransitive verb. In a similar way, boys fly their kites. This is an active sentence and fly is a transitive verb because it takes their kites object. And we can translate that sentence into passive form also. Kites are flown by boys. So this is a passive form, so it is a transitive verb. Fly is a transitive verb in this sentence, whereas if you see the next sentence, birds fly in the sky. Here also the word fly is a verb but not transitive, whereas intransitive. It is intransitive verb because it does not take an object. Not only object, it does not have a passive structure of a sentence. So we can clearly understand that transitive verbs take object and passive forms, whereas intransitive verbs do not take object and passive forms. That is very, very important. And the next category of verb is auxiliary verbs, that is primary auxiliaries, and we have three kinds of primary auxiliaries. Be forms: is, am, are, was, were. Do forms: do, does, did. Have forms: have, has, had. These are all the primary auxiliaries. We call them as helping verbs also. So if you take be forms, they are used to form tense, to form negatives, and to ask questions. For example, if you take Rani is playing now, so is denoting the tense of that particular sentence. So is playing is talking about the tense of that particular sentence. And whereas if you say Rani is not playing now, isn't playing now, is not means negative. So we can form the negative form of a sentence by the help of be forms. Whereas if you say is Rani playing now, so is kept in the beginning of the sentence. So when you keep this in the beginning of the sentence, it becomes a question. So be forms are used to talk about the questions, to form a negatives of a sentence, and to denote a tense of a sentence. And if we take do forms, and do forms are used to ask questions, to form negatives, and to emphasize in a sentence. For example, do you speak English? Do, it's a question, asking a question. Sita doesn't play chess. Does not, forming a negative of a sentence. I do want to speak English. So I do, stressing, emphasizing, not saying simply, it is emphasizing. I do want to speak English. So if you want to emphasize also, we use do forms. And the next one is have forms. Have forms are used in perfect verb tense and to frame the questions also. So in a perfect tense we use have forms, and also to ask questions we use have forms. For example, he has visited Kashmir 10 times. Has visited, so it is here talking about the tense. So has here is talking about the tense. In his whole life, how many times he visited. So he is talking about the tense of that particular sentence. Whereas if you say they have a car, so have here is used as a main verb, not as an auxiliary verb. It is used as a main verb. Whereas if you say have you visited Hyderabad, here have is used to ask a question. So have forms are used to ask questions and to denote a tense also. And the fourth one is modal auxiliaries and modal verbs, we call them. They are shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must, ought to. And there are three other kinds of auxiliaries. We call them as semi-modals. They are need, dare, used to, and these are all the modal auxiliaries, and they help us a lot in conveying a mood of the speaker. So modal auxiliaries help us to tell us the mood, that is the attitude of the speaker, and we cannot change the form of the modal auxiliaries like verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. So they're always like that, and always modal auxiliaries are always followed by bare infinitive and without to, which means modal auxiliary plus verb 1, and that is the rule that we should remember in the language. And modal auxiliaries or verbs are used to express certain functions in the language, such as for example, number 1, permission, to ask permission. Number 2, to denote the ability. Number 3, obligation. Number 4, prohibition. Number 5, lack of necessity. Number 6, advice. Number 7, possibility. Number 8, probability. And these are all the different functions, general functions that are expressed by modal auxiliaries, and let us see them in a sentence. For example, if you say, may I use your phone please? This is asking permission. May, modal auxiliaries. May is a verb, modal verb. I can swim. Here we are talking about the ability of that particular person. Can is modal verb, modal auxiliary. And the next one is, you must stop when the traffic lights turn red. Here we are talking about the obligation. So must is a modal verb. And the next one is, you must not smoke in the hospital. It is a prohibition. Must again used to talk about the prohibition. And the next one is, I need not buy tomatoes. There are many in the fridge. So here we are talking about lack of necessity. Need is a modal auxiliary. And the next one is you should or ought to revise your lessons. Here we are talking about the advice. So ought to, should is talking about the advice. And the next one is it could rain tomorrow. Here we are talking about the possibility. Could, talking about the possibility. And the next one is it may rain tomorrow. Here may is talking about probability, and there is a difference in the degree of level. That's it. So modal verbs or modal auxiliaries help us to convey the mood or the attitude of the person who is speaking. They are very helpful in conveying the right attitude of the person in the language. The fifth one is finite verbs. Finite verbs are all the main verbs. All the main verbs in a sentence are called finite verbs. They talk about the tense, they talk about the person, gender, number, and they are used in the present and past tense. And in a simple note, when a verb has a subject and a tense, if it has these two, we can consider it as a finite verb. Whichever verb it may be, if it has a tense and if it has a subject, these two are very, very important. If it has these two, we can consider that particular verb as a finite verb. For example, she walks home. Here walks is a verb and it has a subject she, and it also has a tense, so it is a finite verb. In a similar manner, she walked home. So she is a subject and walked is denoting the tense of that particular sentence, so it is a finite verb. So all the finite verbs have subject and also they denote, they talk about the tense. And the sixth one is non-finite verbs, and non-finite verbs cannot be used as a main verbs and they do not indicate any tense, any mood or any gender. They are used as nouns, adverbs and adjectives, but they are not used as main verbs. This is very, very important. For example, if you take I like to get up early at the weekend. To get up is a non-finite verb. Smoking causes cancer. Smoking is a verb. It's a non-finite verb. I would rather not eat meat. Eat is a verb, but it is a non-finite verb. So non-finite verbs are of three categories. Number one, infinitives. Number two, gerunds. Number three, participles. Now let us try to see about each one in a clear manner. The first one is infinitives. Infinitives, we see them in two ways. The first one is bare infinitive and the second one is to infinitive. So bare infinitive is nothing but without to. If you have a verb, that is bare infinitive, but if you have to plus verb 1 verb, and it is called to infinitive. For example, if you say do not laugh, so here laugh is bare infinitive because there is no to. And if you say that made me laugh, it is also bare infinitive. But if you say I tried not to laugh, so here to laugh is a to infinitive. And if you say to laugh was not an option, so here to laugh is also a to infinitive. And the second non-finite verb is a gerund. Gerund is nothing but verb 1 plus ing form. So when you add ing form to this particular base form of the verb, it becomes a gerund, and it is used as a subject of a sentence or object of a sentence, and it is called a verbal noun. And for example, reading makes us wise. So here reading is used as the subject of this particular sentence, and it is a gerund and it is a verbal noun. Whereas if you say he likes reading, again reading is a gerund and it is an object of this particular sentence. Whereas if you say he is fond of reading, here reading is an object to this preposition of. And if you say his constant habit is reading, here reading is again a gerund or verbal noun, and it is used as a complement to the habit subject. Whereas if you say it is no use reading that, here reading is again a gerund, but it is used in supposition to a pronoun, so pronoun that. So a gerund is basically a verbal noun which can be used as a subject and object and in other forms also. And the third non-finite verbs are participles, and participles we find them in three ways. The first one is present participle. We call them as progressive active participle, and the second one is perfect participle, and we call them as perfect active participle, and third one is past participle, and we call them as passive participles. And if you see them in examples, mechanic is fixing my bike. Fixing is a participle, it is a present participle. Whereas if you say mechanic has fixed my bike, fix is a non-finite verb and it is a participle and it is a perfect participle. But whereas if you say my bike was fixed, so here fixed is also non-finite verb participle, but it is a passive participle, that is past participle of this particular sentence. So non-finite verbs are of three varieties and they are slightly different from finite verb, and we have to be little bit careful while looking at non-finite verbs. So in general, we know that verbs can be in four forms. What are they? Verb 1, verb 2, verb 3 and verb 4 for our easy understanding. Verb 1 is nothing but present form or base form we say. Verb 2 is nothing but past form. Verb 3 is nothing but past participle form of that particular verb, and verb 4 is nothing but verb 1 plus ing form. For example, if you take clap, claps, that is present form verb 1, clapped verb 2, clapped verb 3, clapping verb 4. In the similar manner, travel, travels verb 1, travelled verb 2, travelled verb 3, travelling verb 4. Go, goes, went, gone, going. Feel, feels, felt, felt, feeling. Speak, speaks verb 1, spoke verb 2, spoken verb 3, speaking verb 4. So this is for the general understanding. Any main verb or a finite verb will certainly have all these four forms. That is very essential thing that we need to keep in mind. Now let us move to the ninth one, that is regular verbs. Regular verbs are formed by adding ed to the base form of the verb. For example, dance is a base form of the verb, a present form of the verb. If you add ed, it becomes danced, that is past form. If you add ed, it becomes past participle. And you can have dancing also, that is verb 4. And the similar manner, paint, painted, painted. Work, if you add ed, worked, worked. And these are all the regular verbs. If you add ed at the end of the base form of the verb, it becomes the second form and the third form of the verb, and if it becomes like that, they are called regular verbs. And the next category of the verbs are irregular verbs, and irregular verbs are formed in three different ways, and they are, the first one is all three forms are same. For example, put, put, put. Put verb 1, put verb 2, put verb 3. There is no change in the form of the verb. And the second one is two forms of the three are the same. So two forms will be same and one is different. For example, if you say sit, sat, sat. Sit is verb 1, sat, sat verb 2 and 3. And the third category is three forms are different and they are different in entire thing. For example, drink, drank, drunk. Drink verb 1, drank verb 2, drunk verb 3. So these are all the three ways how irregular verbs change their form according to the tense of that particular sentence. But there are certain verbs which we use them as regular verbs and irregular verbs also. For example, if you take a burn, burnt, burnt, it is irregular verb because two forms are same, one form is different. And we can take it as a regular verb also, like burn, burned, burned. By adding ed, it becomes verb 2 and 3 and it is a regular verb. In a similar manner, dream, dreamt, dreamt, irregular verb, whereas dream, dreamed, dreamed, regular verb. In the same manner, learn, learnt, learnt, irregular verb. Learn, learned, learned, regular verb. So some verbs in English language can be used as irregular verbs and irregular verbs also. So we have understood the verb and the kinds of verbs in this video, but we have to be very careful when looking at the verb, because when you understand the verb properly, you would understand the language in the right manner. And if you say he wrote a letter, wrote is a transitive verb and finite verb also. Whereas if you say he wrote on a paper, here wrote is intransitive verb. Do not write. So here write is a bare infinitive. Whereas if you say I tried to write, here to write is to infinitive. It's a non-finite verb. He likes writing. Writing is a gerund. It's a verbal noun, non-finite verb. But if you say he is writing, it is a participle. Participle is a verb and it is a present participle. Whereas if you say he has written, written is a perfect participle. So if you say it was written is a past participle. But whereas if you say write, it is irregular verb. So we have to be very careful while looking at the verb. I hope you have understood the entire thing about the verb. And if you Hi and welcome. Shaker runs. Shaker runs fast. Shaker runs very fast. In these three sentences, the word runs is a verb, right? And in the second sentence, fast is qualifying, which means it is giving an extra information about runs. So it is an adverb. Whereas in the third sentence, fast, as we know, it is an adverb, and very, the word very is giving extra information about fast adverb, that is also an adverb. So in the third sentence, very and fast, both of them are adverbs because they are giving an extra information about the verb runs. So adverbs give extra, more, or qualify a verb in a sentence. They tell us how, in which manner, up to what extent, in which way something is done in a sentence. So in this video, you are going to learn about English adverb and kinds of adverbs of English language. Welcome back. Adverb is the fifth one in the parts of speech of English language. So what is an adverb? Adverb is a word that describes or that gives more information or that modifies a verb, an adverb, or an adjective in a sentence. So it gives extra information about another verb, another adverb, another adjective, which means it indicates how, when, where, or why something happened in a sentence. For example, if you take a sentence, Ramesh came late. So how did he came? He came late. So the word late is an adverb because it is qualifying came, the verb. Whereas if you see the second sentence, Ramesh came very late. So late is already adverb and very is qualifying another adverb, late. So very is also an adverb. Whereas in the third sentence, the chicken is too hot. The word hot is an adjective because it is qualifying the chicken. Chicken is a noun, so it is an adjective. So the word hot is qualifying the noun chicken, that's the reason it is an adjective. But too, the word too is qualifying hot. So hot is an adjective. So it is qualifying hot. So the word too is also an adverb. So basically adverbs qualify or modify, describes a verb, an adverb, or an adjective in a sentence. So normally adverbs appear in a sentence in three places. That is, in the first place, in the beginning of the sentence, in the middle position of a sentence and at the end of a sentence, end position of a sentence. In the first position of a sentence, that is before a subject. Before a subject we see adverbs. For example, sometimes I see him at the supermarket. So I is a subject here, and before it the word sometimes is an adverb. And in the mid position of a sentence, it appears between the subject and the verb. So between the subject and the verb we see adverbs normally. For example, he always has chicken for his lunch. Here he is a subject, has a verb, so in the middle always is an adverb. And in the final position, end position of a sentence, after the verb we see it. For example, he visits me occasionally. So visits is a verb. After verb we have got this particular word, adverb, occasionally. So in these three places we normally see adverbs in a sentence in English language. Now let us try to see how many kinds of adverbs are there in English language and try to know more about adverbs and different kinds of adverbs of English language. In a broader manner, after considering many things, we can take 9 adverbs of English language, and they are: the first one is adverbs of time and frequency, the second one adverbs of place and position, third one adverbs of manner, fourth one adverbs of degree and quantity, fifth one adverbs of affirmation, sixth one relative adverbs, seventh one interrogative adverbs, eighth one exclamatory adverbs, and the ninth one is sentence adverbs. Now let us try to know about each adverb in detail and try to understand about them in a better manner. The first one is adverbs of time and frequency. So these adverbs answer the questions like when or how often something has happened. And there are certain words that are always used as adverbs of frequency, like always, never, then, now, soon, tomorrow, last year, before, daily, already, formerly, soon, twice, again, and etc. These are all the words we use them as adverbs of time and frequency. For example, if you see in the sentence, he comes here daily. When does he come? Daily. So the word daily is an adverb. In the next sentence, I have spoken to him already. When have I spoken to him? Already. So already is an adverb. I have told you twice. How often have I told you? Twice. The word twice is an adverb. He often makes mistakes. How frequently he makes mistake? Often. So the word often is an adverb of time and frequency. So adverb of time and frequency answer the questions when or how often something is happened. The second one is adverbs of place and position. These adverbs answer the question where. And there are certain words which we use them adverbs of place or position: near, below, away, around, here, there, up, down, everywhere, out, in. So these are all the words which we use them as an adverbs of place or position. For example, stand here. Where to stand? Here. The word here is an adverb of place. The next sentence, the little dog followed me everywhere. Where does the dog follow? Everywhere. The word everywhere is adverb. Next one, he looked up. Where does he look? Up. So up is an adverb. Go there. Where to go? There. There is an adverb. So adverbs of place and position answer the questions of where. The third one is adverbs of manner. So these adverbs answer the question how. And there are certain words like neatly, calmly, eagerly, angrily, happily, clearly, well, sadly, bravely, soundly, etc. These words we use them as adverbs of manner. For example, Anand reads clearly. How does Anand read? Clearly. The word clearly is an adverb of manner. And the next one is the boy works hard. How does the boy work? Hard. So hard is an adverb of manner. And the next one is, this story is well written. How is the story written? Well. The word well is an adverb of manner. And the next sentence is, the soldier fought bravely. How did the soldier fight? Bravely. The word bravely is answering the question how, right? That's the reason the word bravely is an adverb of manner. So adverbs of manner answers the question how. The fourth one is the adverbs of degree and the quantity, and these adverbs answer the questions how much, how far, to what extent. And there are certain words like just, quite, well, hard, fast, well, so, fully, better, any, etc. These words are used as adverbs of degree and quantity. For example, if you see in the sentence, he was too careless. How much careless was he? Too. The word too is an adverb of degree. The next one is, I am fully prepared. Up to what extent he prepared? Fully. The word fully is an adverb. The next one is, these mangoes are almost ripe. So to what extent these mangoes ripe? Almost. The word almost is an adverb of degree. So adverbs of degree or quantity answer the questions how much, how far, to what extent something is done. The fifth one is adverbs of affirmation. So they indicate a certain or denial. That is nothing but saying yes or no. So this is normally someone's reaction towards a question. If somebody asks something and we react, we give answer, and they are called adverbs of affirmation. There are only two in number, yes or no. For example, if somebody asks you, do you like chicken? When you like, you say, yes, I do. The word yes is adverb of affirmation. If you don't like, you say, no, I don't. So no is also adverb of affirmation. So only two, yes and no, are adverbs of affirmation. The sixth one is relative adverbs. Relative adverbs refer back to their antecedents. So whatever comes before them and it refers to them, and they also join two clauses in a sentence. The words like when, where, why, wherever, whenever, they are all relative adverbs. For example, if you see in the sentence, I don't know where she lives. So where is referring to lives. Not only that, it is combining the two clauses, like I don't know one clause, she lives. These two clauses are linked by where, that is relative adverb. In the second sentence, wherever you go, be a good citizen. So here in this sentence also it is combining two clauses, and wherever is relative adverb. In the third sentence, I don't know why he killed her. So why is referring to kill, and it is a verb, and why is an adverb. And not only that, it is relating two clauses. That's the reason it is an adverb of relation. So relative adverbs. So relative adverbs refer back to their antecedents, refer back to their whatever is said before. Seventh one is interrogative adverbs. So interrogative adverbs are used to ask questions about time, place, manner, and etc. And there are words like when, why, where, how far, how long, how big. These are all the interrogative adverbs. For example, if you take in the sentence, where is Akbar? So the word where is an interrogative adverb of place. In the next sentence, when did you come? The word when is an interrogative adverb of time. Why are you late? The word why is interrogative adverb of reason. Whereas if you say how did you control it? So the word how is an interrogative adverb of manner. In the next sentence, how many boys are there in the hostel? The word how is an interrogative adverb of number. Whereas if you say how high is Taj Mahal, the word how here is interrogative adverb of degree. So interrogative adverbs are used to ask questions in a sentence. Eighth one is exclamatory adverbs. Exclamatory adverbs are used to express how far, how extent something is expressed. Some sudden feeling is expressed. Up to what level, up to what degree, up to what extent that sudden feeling is expressed. And we use two words to express sudden feelings here. They are how and what. So for example, how melodiously she sings. So here the word how is an exclamatory adverb. And in the second sentence, what a good boy he is. So here what is an exclamatory adverb. So exclamatory adverbs are used to express the degree or up to what extent something is expressed. And the ninth one is sentence adverbs. Sentence adverbs normally modify or qualify the entire sentence. For example, fortunately, obviously, luckily, surely, certainly. And these words qualify the entire sentence. For example, fortunately, the baby was saved. The word fortunately is qualifying the entire sentence. So fortunately is an adverb and it is a sentence adverb. In a similar manner, obviously she is innocent. Obviously adverb. Surely you are mistaken. Surely sentence adverb. Certainly he went. Certainly sentence adverb. So sentence adverbs qualify the entire sentence, modify the entire sentence. There are some adverbs which belong to more than one category, that is more than one class, one kind. For example, if you take in the sentence, she sings delightfully. So the word delightfully is an adverb, of course, but it is an adverb of manner. Whereas if you take this particular word in another sentence, like the weather is delightfully cool. So the word delightfully here is also an adverb, but here it is talking about the degree. So it is an adverb of degree. In a similar manner, in the next sentence, don't go far. Far, of course, is an adverb and adverb of place. If you take the same word far in another sentence, he is far better now. And far, of course, is an adverb, but it is not a place, but it is a degree. So it is an adverb of degree. So we should understand from these examples that there are some adverbs which belong to more than one category, more than one kind of adverbs. So I hope you have understood adverb and the kinds of adverbs of English language. And there are some words which are used as adverbs and adjectives with the same form without changing the same form. For example, if you take in a sentence, he runs fast. Fast is an adverb, whereas if you say he is a fast runner, fast is an adjective. In a similar manner, he works hard. Hard is an adverb. Iron is hard. Hard is an adjective in this sentence. He gets up early. Early is an adverb. He is an early riser. Early is an adjective in this sentence. He came here direct. Direct in this sentence is an adverb, whereas in the other sentence, this is a direct train. Direct in this sentence is an adjective. In a similar manner, the plane flew high. High is an adverb here in this sentence, whereas in the next sentence, the price of petrol is high. So here high is used as an adjective of this sentence. So we have to be a bit careful while discriminating a word, whether it is an adjective or an adverb in a sentence. We have to see the context clearly, then only we should come to a conclusion that this is adjective or this is an adverb. I believe that this video will certainly help you to understand adverb and kinds of adverbs of English language in a simple manner. If you really... Hi and welcome. A cat is on the table. A cat is the table. So in the second sentence, something is missing, right? What is missing? The word on is missing in the second sentence. Does anything change if the word on is removed from the second sentence? Yes, the entire meaning of the sentence is completely changed only because of the word on. In the first sentence, on is telling us the connection between the cat and the table. Whereas in the second sentence, there is no on, so the sentence means the cat is the table, which is not at all right. So the word on is very, very important to convey the meaning in the right way, whatever we wanted to convey. So what is on here? The word on is a preposition. So prepositions are very, very important in any sentence to convey the right meaning in the bright way. So in this video, you are going to learn about the preposition and the kinds of prepositions of English language. So welcome back. Preposition is the sixth one in the parts of speech of English language. So what is a preposition? Preposition is a word which is placed before a noun or a pronoun. And what does it do? It links or relates that particular noun or a pronoun with the other words in a sentence. For example, there is a cow in the field. The word in is placed before the field. Field is a noun and before it is placed, so it is a preposition. And what is it doing? It is connecting or relating the field with the cow. So it links these two words in the sentence. In a similar way, the cat jumped off the chair. So off is a preposition and the book is on the table. On is connecting the book and the table. So on is a preposition. So prepositions really connects a noun or a pronoun in a sentence to the other words of a sentence. Prepositions are normally placed before a noun or a pronoun, but sometimes they are placed at the end of a sentence. And there are certain rules about this. The first one is when the object of the preposition is an interrogative pronoun like what, who, whom, which, where, the preposition is always takes the end position. For example, if you see in a sentence, what are you thinking of? The word of is placed at the end of the sentence. And what is the object of this of? Of course, what, which means you are thinking of what. So what is the object of preposition? That's the reason it is placed at the end of the sentence. In a similar manner, in the second sentence, who are you talking to? Which means you are talking to who. So who is object of. So when this is the case, preposition is placed at the end of a sentence. In a similar manner, in the second one is when the object of the preposition is a relative pronoun that, then also preposition takes at the end position of a sentence. For example, here is the book that you asked for. So for is a preposition and it is placed at the end of the sentence because the object of for is that. The second sentence, this is the dish that she is fond of. So of is a preposition. The third one is when the object of the preposition is an infinitive, that is to infinitive. The preposition obviously takes the end position. That means at the end of a sentence after the to infinitive verb. For example, this is a good hotel to stay at. At is placed at the end of the sentence. To stay is to infinitive in the sentence. And the next one, I need a pencil to write with. So with is a preposition placed at the end of the sentence. To write is to infinitive. And the next one and the fourth one is when in some sentences the relative pronoun is hidden. It is not seen, but it has implied meaning in it. So in those sentences, the preposition is placed at the end of a sentence. For example, this is a house I lived in. So where I lived actually, but where is not seen, it is implied, it is understood in the context. So in is placed at the end of the sentence. The second sentence, this is the girl I told you of, that I told you of. So that is understood in the context. When this kind of situation is there, we place preposition at the end of a sentence. Or else a preposition is always placed before a noun or a pronoun and it connects the
noun or a pronoun with the other words in a sentence. Now let us try to see the different kinds of prepositions of English language and try to understand about them in detail. There are four kinds of prepositions in English language. The first one is simple prepositions, the second one is compound prepositions, the third one is phrase prepositions, and the fourth one is possessive prepositions. And now let us try to know about each one in detail and take some examples and understand them in the better manner. The first one is simple prepositions. Simple prepositions have two categories, like prepositions of time, prepositions of place and directions. If you take prepositions of time, at, on, in, by, after, before, for, since, until, etc., these are all prepositions of time. Whereas if you take prepositions of place and directions, by, in, on, out, to, from, up, within, beside, between, etc., these are all prepositions of place and directions. If you see them in a sentence, I have a meeting at 10 a.m. At here is talking about the time of the meeting. So in the next sentence, do you work on Sundays? On, again it's a time. In the next sentence, I have a meeting in Delhi. In is talking about the place, Delhi. In the next sentence, do you work in a company? In, company, place. So these simple prepositions talk about place, time, direction, etc. The second category of preposition is compound prepositions. Compound prepositions are normally formed by prefixing, by adding a letter to a noun, adjective, or an adverb. What kind of words do we normally add? A or B. A means no, B means by. For example, about, above, across, along, amidst, among, around, before, behind, below, beside, between, beyond, etc. These are all compound prepositions. They are formed by adding a or be letters before a noun, before an adjective or an adverb. For example, if you see them in a sentence, father divided the food among the three sons. Among is a compound preposition. And the next one, Raju stood beside Sita. Beside, a preposition. Next, dog ran across the road. Across, compound preposition. In the next sentence, the bag is below the desk. Below, a compound preposition. So compound prepositions are normally formed by prefixing a preposition or by prefixing a noun, adjective, or an adverb. Third category of preposition is complex, or we call them as phrase prepositions. They are the group of words which are used with the force of a single preposition. For example, according to, along with, because of, by the way of, in order to, for the sake of, on account of, in spite of, irrespective of, on account of, on behalf of, other than, out of, etc. These are all the words, combination of words which are used with the force of a single preposition. For example, if you see them in a sentence, the cat ran away from the dangerous dog. Away from, two words which are used with a single force as away from. It's a preposition, it's a complex or phrase preposition. In a similar manner, there is a big forest outside of my village. Outside of, phrase, it's a phrase preposition. I spoke on behalf of my father. On behalf of, three words combined as one phrase. It is a complex or phrase preposition. In the next sentence, I dream of standing on top of Mount Everest. On top of, three words as a single preposition, and this is complex or phrase prepositions. So phrase or complex prepositions are used as a single preposition in a sentence. The fourth one is possessive prepositions. Possessive prepositions are used in the context of things that belongs to a person or an animal. There are three possessive prepositions we can normally say. They are of, with, and to. The preposition of explains to whom the person or an object belongs to. The preposition with, used with objects, materials, animals and physical things, whereas the preposition to is usually used in the expression belong to. So if you see them in a sentence, he is a friend of ours, of is belongingness of ours, he belongs to us. So in the similar manner, this is the house of our uncle, so our uncle's house, of relating possession. In the next sentence, I saw a girl with a pink dress. Pink dress is a material, so with pink dress, it's a possession. In the next sentence, this garden belongs to the government, to government, so it's a government's. So to is also talking about the possession. So these three prepositions normally talk about the possession of a person or an animal. So possessive prepositions are normally used in the context of things that belong to a person or an animal. Some words in English language are used as adverbs and prepositions also. So how can we discriminate them? So a word, when it is used as a preposition, it is normally governed by a noun or a pronoun, and that is the clue by which we can identify a preposition in a sentence. For example, if you see them in sentences, he has come in. In is qualifying come, it's a verb, so it is an adverb. So in is an adverb in this sentence. Whereas if you see in the next sentence, is he in his room? In is connecting he and room. So in is a preposition in this sentence. It is governed by a noun, room. So it is a preposition in this sentence. In a similar way, let us move on. On is an adverb in this sentence, whereas in the next sentence, the book is on the table. On is a preposition. In the next sentence, his father arrived soon after. After, adverb in this sentence, whereas in the next sentence, after a month, he returned. After, a preposition here. In the next sentence, I have not seen him since. Since is an adverb in this sentence, whereas in the next sentence, I have not slept since yesterday. Since is a preposition in this sentence. In the next sentence, the wheel came off. Off is an adverb here. In the next sentence, the driver jumped off the car. Off is a preposition in this sentence. So one has to be very careful while identifying a preposition in a sentence. So the clue is that a preposition is always governed, ruled by a noun or a pronoun. That is the clue, and we have to remember it to identify a preposition in a sentence. So I believe that this video will certainly help you to understand preposition and kinds of preposition in a brief manner. And
Hi and welcome. Ravi left after the fight. Ravi left after they fought. The word after is used in both the sentences, right? But how is it used? In the first sentence, the word after is used as a preposition, whereas in the second sentence, after is used as a conjunction. So how to identify it? If you see the first sentence, the word after is placed before the noun fight, and it is connecting the noun fight with other words in the sentence Ravi left. That is the reason. So it is connecting the noun fight with other words in the sentence. That's the reason it is a preposition. Whereas in the second sentence, what kind of work does this word after is doing? It is connecting, joining two sentences. What are they? Ravi left, the first sentence, and they fought, second sentence. It is joining, connecting these two sentences as a single sentence. That is the reason in this sentence, in the second sentence, after is a conjunction. So conjunction here is connecting these two sentences. So in this video, you are going to learn about conjunction and kinds of conjunctions of English language. Welcome back. Conjunction is the seventh one in parts of speech of English language. And what is a conjunction? Conjunction is a word, actually it joins or connects words, phrases, clauses,
or sentences in the language, and that is a conjunction. And there are many conjunctions in English language. For example, and, but, or, at, still, so, not only but also, either, or, neither, nor, etc. There are many conjunctions in English language. Let us try to see them in examples like Raju and Ravi are best friends. Here the word and is connecting Raju, Ravi two words, right? In the second sentence, the food was very expensive but not very tasty. So here the word but is connecting two phrases. Very expensive one phrase, not very tasty other phrase. These two phrases are connected by the word but. In the next sentence, there are seats outside but some people don't like sitting. So here the word but is connecting two clauses. There are two clauses in this sentence. The first clause is there are seats outside, one clause, and the next clause is some people don't like sitting. These two clauses are connected by the word but. So but is a conjunction. In the next sentence, you must study or you will fail. So here we have two sentences, but they are connected by the simple word or. So or is a conjunction. So conjunctions do connect words, phrases, clauses and sentences in English language. Now let us try to know how many kinds of conjunctions are there in English language and try to know more about them. And according to some grammarians, conjunctions are basically divided into two categories. They are, the first one is coordinating conjunctions, the second one is subordinating conjunctions. Now let us try to know about both of them in detail. The first one is coordinating conjunctions. The meaning of coordinating is equal rank, equal position. So what do coordinating conjunctions do? They connect or join two statements or two clauses of equal state, equal rank. There are many coordinating conjunctions. For example, and, but, or, yet, still, so, not only but also, either, or, neither, nor, etc. These are all coordinating conjunctions because they join two statements or clauses of equal rank. For example, if you take in the sentences, birds fly and fish swim. Birds fly and fish swim. Both of them are equal statements with equal status. So they are joined by the word and. So and is a conjunction and it is a coordinating conjunction. In a similar manner, he is late but he is sure to win. So but is a coordinating conjunction. In the next sentence, neither a borrower nor a lender. Neither nor coordinating conjunction. She must weep or she will die. Or a coordinating conjunction. So coordinating conjunctions connect or join two statements or two clauses of equal rank. The second category of conjunctions is subordinating conjunctions, and subordinating conjunctions connects or join two clauses, a clause to another clause which is dependent on the main clause. So subordinating conjunctions, in easy way we can say that they join the subordinating clause, a subordinating clause to the main clause. And there are many subordinating conjunctions like because, after, if, that, though, although, till, before, unless, as, when, where, while. These are all subordinating conjunctions. Let us see them in sentences. I read the paper because it interests me. I read the paper is a main clause. It interests me is a subordinate clause and it is connected by because. So without because, this subordinate clause, it interests me, is not connected to this main clause. So the subordinating clause, it interests me, is connected by because. So because is a conjunction, it is a subordinating conjunction. In a similar manner, you will pass if you work hard. If is a subordinating conjunction. Since you say so, I must believe it. Since a subordinating conjunction, The next sentence, a book is a book although there is nothing in it. Although, a subordinating conjunction. So subordinating conjunctions join a subordinating clause to the main clause. That is crucial. Some words in English language are used as a preposition and as a conjunction also, but we have to be careful by looking at them in the context and identify whether they are prepositions or conjunctions. For example, let us take them in the sentences. Stay till Monday. Till here in this sentence is a preposition, whereas if you say in another sentence, we shall stay here till you return. Till is a conjunction here. In a similar manner, I have not met him since Monday. Since here in this sentence is a preposition, whereas in the next sentence, we shall go since you want it. Since here in this sentence is a conjunction. In the next sentence, the dog ran after the cat. After in this sentence is a preposition, whereas in the next sentence, we came after they had left. After in this sentence is a conjunction. In a similar manner, everybody but Ravi was present. But here it is a preposition, whereas in the next sentence, he tried but did not succeed. But here in this sentence is a conjunction. So prepositions, conjunctions are slightly different and it can be identified in the context only. So we have to be very careful to identify the context of used words. I hope this video really helped you to understand the conjunction and kinds of conjunctions of English language. If you really Hi and welcome. Imagine that you are watching a kabaddi match and that is the final match and your team is playing in that match and that is the end of the game and finally your team won the game. How would you respond to that situation? What would you say? You would certainly shout with some sound, right? And what kind of sound? Hurrah, we have won the game, or Yahoo, we have won the game. And that is one situation. Let us take another situation. Imagine that your best friend's father died yesterday. How would you respond to this situation? Would you respond in the same way that you have responded when you won the match? Obviously not, right? And there is other way of response here. How would you respond? Alas, oh my God, alas, my best friend's father died yesterday. Alas, Ravi's father died yesterday. So there are two kind of responses in two different situations and both responses are entirely different, right? So we respond according to the situation and we use the sounds, the words as per the demand. So in the first sentence, hurrah or yahoo, or in the second sentence, alas, what are they? They are the words, they are called interjections. Interjections. So in this video, you are going to learn about interjections. Welcome back. Interjections is the eighth one in the parts of speech of English language, and if you really want to know about the parts of speech of English language, I have given the link in the description below. You can go and click on the link and watch the parts of speech again and come back to this video so that you would understand the interjections of English language in the better manner. So what is an interjection? Interjection is a kind of exclamation which is inserted in a regular speech. So when you are talking, you insert some kind of words. Those words are called interjections, and they are actually brief and abrupt pauses in a speech expressing some kind of emotion. We have so many emotions, we use them abruptly in the speech. So why do we use them? We use them to express our sudden feelings or sudden emotions in a sentence. And what kind of words do we use normally? Hello, alas, hurrah, ah, ho, hush. So these are all the different kinds of words that we use them as interjections in our regular speech to express our sudden emotional feelings. For example, if you see them in sentences, hurrah, we have won the game. Hurrah is an interjection. In the next sentence, huh, have they gone? Huh is an interjection. In the next sentence, oh, I got such a fright. Oh is an interjection. Shh, don't make noise. Shh is an interjection. The most important thing is we have to use an exclamation mark after the interjection in a sentence. So interjections are used to express sudden feelings or sudden emotions of a individual. Interjections are really unique and they have some kind of interesting features, characteristics. Like the first one is interjections do not have any grammatical function in a sentence or sentence constructions. We don't use them to form any grammatical corrections in a sentence. And the next one is they are not modified. We cannot change their form as we change many other words. We cannot change their form. They are like that. We should use them like that only. And the next one, they do not have any relation or any connection with the other part of the sentence. They are isolated. And the next one is they are highly context sensitive, and you cannot say that it has to be used here. But there are certain rules where we have to use such kind of words. We have to use those expressions there itself. So interjections have these interesting characteristics or features in English language. And interjections also mainly have four roles. They do four things in English language. The first one is they express a sudden mood or sudden emotion or feeling with emphasis, not normally with some kind of emphasis on the emotion. For example, wow, that's an amazing scene. Here, wow, you have seen something and you say wow. So here, wow is an interjection. So we are stressing that particular scene by adding this kind of interjection, emotional interjection, that is wow. So that's the reason wow is an interjection. In a similar manner, I don't want him to come. So here we are using it as an interjection and we are emphasizing on something here. In a similar way, what? You never told me that. What is an interjection, used as an interjection to emphasize something. So this is the first role that was done by interjections. The second one is some interjections interrupt a conversation or a thought or hold someone's attention for a moment. So they are just sounds, not words. They do not have any meaning but have emotional sense attached to them. For example, if you see them in sentences, your shirt has a stain on the back. The word is an interjection. It doesn't have any meaning, but emotional connection is connected here. In a similar manner, in the second sentence, I want to ask you out on a date. This particular sound is a sound, not word exactly. It has no sense, but it is connected with emotional feeling here. So this one is an interjection. The third role of an interjection is they express simply yes or no. For example, yes, I will mostly definitely do it. So S is an interjection. It's simply saying yes. Or no, we are not going. No is no, simply saying no. So na is an interjection. And the fourth one is some interjections are used to get somebody's attention to us. When we are talking, we want to get somebody's attention, then we use some interjections like, yo Alex, get the chair. So here, yo, we want to get that particular person's Alex attention and we are saying yo. So yo is an interjection. In the next sentence, hey, will you give me that ball? The word hey, we are using it to get the attention of that person, so it is an interjection. Yo ho, is there anyone? So here, yo ho is an interjection. So interjections have these many roles in English language. There are many emotions we carry forward every day and we express them in many ways. Let us try to see some emotions, how they are used, what kind of sounds are used to carry forward those kind of emotions in sentences. For example, annoyance. The interjections are hey, oi, hey, hey, are you serious? Hey is used as interjection of annoyance. And the next one is dissatisfaction. Damn, blast. Damn, get that cat off the table. Damn here is denoting the emotion dissatisfaction. And the next one, grief, panic. Alas. So alas, Sita's father died yesterday. Alas is an interjection of grief or panic. The next one is pleasure. Emotion is pleasure. we use certain sounds like yeah, oh, yeah. These sounds we use them as pleasure interjections. Like for example, wow, we are going on a vacation. Wow, an interjection of pleasure. The next one is doubt. Really? So these sounds we use to express a doubt. I am not sure about that. So word is an interjection of doubt. The next emotion is embarrassment. We use a word ahem. Ahem, can I make a suggestion? So ahem is an interjection of embarrassment. And the next one is realization. Eureka. So these sounds, now I understand. So is a realization of interjection. And the next one is joy. Hurrah, hey, hoo-ho. So hurrah, we have won the match. Hurrah is an interjection of joy. The next one is relief. Phew, ho. So these sounds we use. Ho, take it easy. Ho, interjection. The next one is pain. Ouch, oh, hey. So ouch, that really hurts. Ouch is an interjection talking about a pain. And the next one is surprise. Oh, jeepers, crikey. So these are the sounds used. Oh, there you are. Oh is an interjection. The next one is disapproval. Tusk, tusk, tut. These sounds. Tut, you are out drinking again today. Tut is an interjection. The next one is disgust. Ack. So ack, I never liked him anyway. So ack is an interjection. The next one is dismay. Oh no, oops. Oh no, did I leave my keys in the car? So oh no is an interjection which conveys dismay. So in this way there are many interjections, there are many sounds that we use normally in our speech to express our emotions or our feelings, to convey to the other persons. When we use these sounds, it is conveyed, it is mixed with emotion. So what happens when we use these sounds? So these sounds mix our emotion with the sentence, then it becomes beautiful sentence. So I hope this video helped you to understand interjections in a better manner. If you really feel that, don't forget to click on the subscription bell like buttons and do share the video so that I can come up with many this kind of videos in the future. Thank you very much for watching the entire video.